Hello guys, I'm Alex and I'm visiting one of the most iconic perfume houses in London, the exclusive Jovoy Mayfair. And I'm honored today to interview Orquídea Sanchez, the new stores manager who knows everything about perfumes. So let's go straight to the questions I prepared for her. Orquídea Sanchez, thank you for having me here and giving me your precious time for this interview. How are you doing today?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you, Alex, for coming and visiting us. Very happy to have you here as well.
Thank you. Jovoy Mayfair, tell me a bit about it.
So it has always been a bit of a question mark for all of us. French people would say Jovoy, naturally, because that's the pronunciation in French for most words finishing in O and Y. But we came to understand that actually due to the founder's name, which was actually a French lady in the 1923, Blanche Arvoy, we came to suspect that actually you pronounce it Jovoy.
Interesting.
Yes, because it has always been a point, even for me when I started, I was thinking, do I pronounce it Jovoy or Jovoy?
I thought it was Jovoy.
Yes, that's what you would naturally think, but yeah, Jovoy Mayfair, and it's a very interesting story because it did started with this lady, Blanche Arvoy, which decided in the 20s, in the roaring 20s, you can imagine this time when everybody wanted to forget about the war and people wanted to be happy, to celebrate, to be a bit more daring, and she came up with the idea of founding this perfume house. And the cool thing about this perfume house, it was that the bottles were animal shaped and the scents were very bold for the time. So this was for people that really wanted to stand out, to leave a mark.
I see.
And it was like a shock for Parisian society. So they loved it, and she was very successful during that decade. But then in the 30s, when all the economic downturn came, unfortunately the store and the perfume house disappeared, as with many other businesses. But then we had in 2006 Mr. François Nain, which is an entrepreneur, a French entrepreneur, who decided to, let's say, resurrect the brand. He loved the essence of the brand, but of course he decided to give it a modern touch, something that could be adapted to what society was about in these days. He did keep one of the names of one of the fragrances from the original perfume house, which is Garde-moi, which what it means is keep me.
Yes.
So it's a bit of a romantic fragrance, but also it has depth, it has warmth, it's very sensual, and he has worked with some of the best perfumers to create his own range of Jovoy or Jovoy perfumes, and he actually created the biggest independent niche perfumery in Paris, which is a fantastic accomplishment. And now we are in London, so very inspiring story.
Very inspiring indeed. Actually, there's a trend to make unisex fragrances, right? Not to encapsulate any perfume as masculine or feminine. What's your opinion about masculine, feminine in perfumery? Do you think that there are notes or accords that are more appropriate for a determined gender?
Well, when we think about fragrance, I think the most important thing that we need to take into account is how an ingredient or how a combination of notes will develop on your skin. And that's why I really like the freedom and the understanding that now this generation has about fragrance, because it's broader. And we need to understand that there are floral perfumes, which were always associated to feminine fragrances that work fantastically well on a man, and they develop beautifully, and you don't necessarily think, oh, he's wearing a feminine fragrance, because it doesn't smell necessarily feminine, it just smells beautiful. And the same happens with some women as well. They like something that is not typically as feminine, and they would like to use maybe warmer notes, something a bit spicier, and it works with them. And when we understand fragrance, we also understand that fragrance is more than a juice that you put on your skin. Fragrance is a scent that also represents your personality, that represents perhaps the mood. How are you feeling on that day? And when you understand this, you realize, at least in my opinion, and everybody of course is free to have their own opinion, but at least in my opinion, you feel like there is this huge freedom to choose something that really reflects who you are, but also how you want to feel, because sometimes you might use perfume to lift your mood, to make you feel better.
Of course.
Or sometimes you will use it to actually reflect how you're feeling on that day. What could be low, could be happy, could be many different things. So that's the beauty and the versatility of fragrance, I find. So I would say it is great not to encapsulate, because you can really discover the big variety that fragrance has to offer, and we shouldn't limit ourselves with labels. That's what I think.
Okay, and what about the colors of the bottle? Because it's a fact that we associate colors with a type of fragrance or with gender even. For example, for me, a red bottle is more for a women's fragrance, and maybe something sensual or sexual, sexy, you know, or a pink bottle. I associate this with something more girly, more rosy. I don't know any masculine perfume, any perfume made for men in a pink bottle. What do you think about this?
So I think independently of what the brand wants to portray it as an image, you know, brands now go for bottles that could be very simple and juices that could be almost colorless. So this has to do with the identity of the brand, but I do find that for marketing purposes, and because it's so ingrained in our brain that we associate certain colors with genders, brands, they use it to their advantage. So this is something that if you, like you have said, if you see a pink bottle, you will associate it with a feminine,
of course,
with a feminine fragrance, and I think this is a fair tool to use by the companies. I think it's just easier and quicker to portray and to express the message that you want to express using color or using fonts or using even the shape of the bottle. Even companies that sometimes have a range that is very simple and very elegant, if they want to highlight or if they want to do like a limited edition, they might come with a red juice just to say, okay, this is a fragrance that is about sensuality, that is about sexiness, is about something more carnal. So I think even companies that are very discreet in their packaging, they still in the color of the juice, they benefit from these associations that we have in our heads with colors for gender. So I think it's a good thing to still use. There's nothing wrong with it, in my opinion, and it's definitely a quick identifier.
You are very familiarized with all the brands you work with and their perfumes. Probably you wear perfumes often, maybe on a daily basis, or even sometimes more than one perfume per day. In my opinion, and this is a personal opinion, season, temperature, time of the day or occasion are some of the factors that typically determine my choice of a perfume. But something that any perfume is good for any time, weather or occasion, as long as we enjoy it. What do you think about it?
It's a very good question, actually, because it brings me to the point that very few people know about fragrance, and we all understand that the fragrance might work on our skin or might not, and that this is different for everyone because we are all unique and we all have a different chemistry in our bodies. But even beyond that chemistry, there are other factors, because you have the hormones, you have of course your mood, you have the weather, and you also have even what you eat. So it's very interesting, because sometimes I have people saying, oh, you know, I have been wearing this same fragrance for a long time, but lately it smells different on me. How is it possible?
Yeah.
And then is when you come to the point to understand that, because fragrance is something so intimate, we put it on our skin, but that goes to our bloodstream, right? So it enters in contact with everything that is happening in our bodies. So if you're going through perhaps a period when you are struggling with your hormones, or where you haven't been eating the same that you used to eat before, that will impact how your fragrance is gonna behave on your skin. And it's a very interesting thing to know, because you can then understand why this happens. But also some fragrances are volatile to weather. That's why we also, especially to light, to sunlight and to different types of light. That's why we always recommend to keep them in a dark place that is not too hot, because that will also spoil the fragrance. So there are many elements that play in the way your fragrance will behave on your skin. But also then there is a personal preference, which is, do I like to wear perfumes by season? I feel a different way when I'm in winter, when I'm in summer, or depending on the country that I am. And I would say it's very personal. I think it's whatever makes you feel good is what you should do. In my case, I enjoy to have the seasonal perfumes, so I wouldn't wear necessarily the same in summer that I would wear in winter. I like something a bit more cozy in winter, a bit warmer.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I do think it does make a difference. There are people that go even further than that, because they also, like I mentioned before, they associate fragrance with a mood, and they almost feel or think about fragrance as a piece of clothing. So you wake up in the morning, and depending on your mood, you're going to choose what you're going to wear, right?
Yes.
And your fragrance has to also complement that.
Of course, in my opinion, absolutely the fragrance complement the outfit, what you dress.
Yeah, and depending where you go in as well, what's the occasion, that would be different as well. So that's why it's very common and very popular now, the concept of having a perfume wardrobe. And I completely understand, because I think there are fragrances for different occasions as well.
Taking all this into consideration, about how many perfumes, in your opinion, a person needs in their collection to be always perfectly and properly fragrant in any season, time or occasion?
I would say a minimum would be a summer fragrance and a winter fragrance. I would say that for me it would be the minimum. I think we feel differently in different seasons. So I will start with that, and then some people can expand to use perfume also as a tool to help them feel in a different way. Some days, if you have an important meeting and you feel like you need a bit of reassurance and you want to feel confident and powerful, there are fragrances that can help you to achieve that feeling and to almost be there as a friend, as a support for what you have to face in the day. Well, there are perfumes for celebration. If you have an amazing occasion and you just want your fragrance to be and to feel as festive as you are, that's another way to reflect that with fragrance. So I would say the sky's the limit, but I would start with 2.
I see you have some perfumes there. They are from your personal collection, and I would like you to tell me what perfume of your personal collection would you use for working in an office with many people around, for example?
With many people around, I would definitely wear something like Unue, which is part of our Guerra line. And what I like about Unue is that it's a beautiful white floral musk fragrance, and it's something that is elegant, but it's discreet. I think it's important to take into consideration that when you are working close to different people, either in an office or in a small space, you don't want your fragrance to become almost an invasion for other people.
You're right.
And I think we need to be mindful of that because of that occasion. So that would be my choice.
Okay, and what about an important business meeting?
I would say I would wear the same. I wouldn't want the fragrance to overpower what I want to say or the way that I want to express myself or to become a distraction. So I would still keep it a bit more on the discreet side, but elegant. If you have a close contact, then it would probably be felt, but in a very sophisticated way. I think it's important for the work environment.
That's beautiful, yeah. And for example, to go to the gym, do you wear some fragrance to go to the gym?
No, I wouldn't wear fragrance to go to the gym.
Anything fresh, at least, or maybe fruity or something?
That's my personal, very personal opinion, but I like to have my skin as clean, as neutral as possible if I'm going to sweat. I just don't want any other substance to sort of interfere with that natural process. So I wouldn't wear it for the gym.
I see. And for example, for drinks out with friends?
For that one, it makes me think about something fun. Something full of life, dynamism. So I would actually choose Cherry Punk from room 1015, which I think is a great fragrance because it is very on trend, the cherry element in perfumery. Right. And the way they have done it is in such a cool way that I think, you put it on and you already feel in the mood of, going out, you feel fresh, you feel like they say.
Yeah, it's definitely like playful.
Yeah, it is playful. It is a bit of, like the name, it's a bit punk. So I like that, yeah. I think the color of the bottle, we were talking about color of bottles before, and it's a nice statement. I think it's a great fragrance.
Yeah, definitely great. And what would you wear or what would you bring to your summer holidays in an island or in a beautiful beach or something like that?
I would definitely bring with me a fragrance that I absolutely love, which is from Nobile 1942, and it's called La Danza delle Libellule. And what it means is the dance of the dragonfly. And it's a fragrance that I love because it's fresh, it's a bit sweet, it's creamy, and it just makes you feel instantly good. In fact, it's inspired in aromatherapy. So when you use it, you actually get that good factor feeling straight away. And it also has the message that we shouldn't take life too seriously, and that's something that I really, really feel identified with. So it's one of my favorites, and every time I use it, I get so many compliments. So that is always there.
And do you wear your fragrances for yourself or to make an impression on others? I mean, your opinion about the emotions the fragrances create on us and on the people around also.
I think first of all, the fragrance that I would choose, it would have to reflect my personality first of all. I need to feel identified with what that fragrance expresses. Then of course that it suits me. But also for me, it is important that my partner likes it, for sure. I think when we have someone or when we are with someone, smell is such an important part of the whole experience that it is important for me that he likes what I wear. And perhaps if I'm go to a different occasion that I'm not necessarily with him, or I just on my own, perhaps I will, wear something a bit different, and it doesn't matter if he would like it or not. But we normally have very similar taste. For what I wear, that I like, he normally likes. So in that sense, we are. Yeah. So it is important for me, but of course, at the end of the day, it's what makes you happy.
And I'm curious, there's any fragrance that is his favorite on you?
Yes, La Danza.
Okay.
And Fire at Will as well from Jovoy, actually, I have to say, which I wear more now towards this season. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen in some stores that they have a pot with coffee beans to offer their customers when they are in a long sniffing session to rest their olfactive sense. It does really works.
Well, that has always been a bit of a controversy, because you will have the people that would say, well, actually, coffee is just another smell. And some people say that the best thing to clear your nose it's by drinking water, which also works. But we do offer some coffee beans, because for some people I don't know if it's a placebo and they feel like it works, but for some people they feel that it does, so we have them available, yes.
Okay. And does Jovoy Mayfair offer something else more than fragrances?
Yes, we do. In fact, we have from our own brand, Jovoy, we do candles as well. Some of them are inspired in some of the perfumes, but some others are actually independent scents of their own. And it's beautiful. I think when you are passionate about fragrance in general, you want to also have your home smelling beautiful, and you want, you know, to also gift it to someone special, and that is also, in my opinion, proof of appreciation is how you show appreciation to some people when you give them a beautiful fragrance. So we do have candles, we do from different brands like Nishani. We just introduced a new brand that is all made in London for candles, and hand creams that is very beautiful. It's called Fine Scents. So we like to complement certain things to our collection, but I have to say that we like to think of ourselves like the embassy of niche perfumery in London. So the main thing that you will see, it's fragrance.
You are surrounded by some of the more exclusive and rare fragrances in the world. Some of them, I would say, are a bit difficult to be understood by most of people. Personally, I prefer to wear a perfume that I can understand easily, effortlessly. Okay? But this is my opinion. Sometimes it's just a matter of enjoy it or not. What do you think?
I think, especially because we are talking about niche perfumery, it's an element that it adds variety and diversity to this universe, let's say. And I think it depends. It really depends. There are people more and more that are trying to find things that are going out of what we normally know, different accords, different, if you will, harmonies in the notes, and they are going a step beyond. And sometimes it doesn't necessarily mean that they understand it or not, but that they find it daring enough or bold enough to wear it, and they maybe are in a stage of their life that they want to present themselves as something a bit more complex. They want something that it breaks boundaries, and I think niche perfumery is there to give the people that look for that element as well. So I would say it depends on where in your perfume journey you are.
Yes.
You might come to that, you might not, but in the end it's an universe that certainly brings a lot of different people, and I think that's the beauty of it. So the complexity is, I think, what drives many people to niche perfumery, and they appreciate this difference, and I love to see it. I don't necessarily like all of the ones that are very, very different, but I can enjoy for other people, and I can sort of understand what they are trying to project or what they are trying to express with these fragrances.
I find very interesting all you say, but you know, I'm thinking about people with a simple taste, like myself, for example. Sometimes I smell a fragrance and I love it, I really love it, but I wear and I don't get a good feedback from the people around me, because most of people maybe don't understand very extravagant fragrances, you know, so I don't feel very well. Even if I love it, I don't feel like wearing it, because I need to them accept how I smell, you know, and I think this is something that many people feel like. So what's your opinion about this?
So, well, I think it brings us back to the point when you were asking, who do you wear your fragrance for, right? And it depends on how you feel about it, how confident you are, if you really want to wear something, you know. And you said, this is what I like, this is what I'm gonna wear. They might not understand it, but it makes me feel good.
But you know, I wear this kind of fragrances when I'm alone at home.
Yeah, because you want, so you definitely want your fragrance to be liked by the people around.
Yes, definitely. Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with that, because if you think about perfumery, it has always been from the very beginnings made to make us smell good, give us this image that we are clean, that we are nice to be around, and that we can be close to people, and we are very in a way it's almost an element that defines also your level of appeal and attractiveness in a way. But like I said, in perfumery there is such a vast range of things. You know, for example, here in Jovoy we have from the simplest cologne that someone wants, something classic, something fresh, to the most complex of fragrances, which could be a brand like Beaufort, London, that not many people would necessarily identify with, but there is an audience for that. That they really want to go completely breaking boundaries, going out of the ordinary without caring about what other people say. It depends on again, what you want your fragrance to do for you, and what is the occasion, who are the people that you are gonna see as well, because perhaps you say that for the people that are closest to you, but maybe in another occasion you go to a place when you are surrounded by strangers and you don't care if they will like it or not, so you will dare to wear something a bit bolder.
Or you will be in a place where there are a lot of people who understand perfumes.
Exactly.
And these people will understand your perfume too.
Yes, absolutely. So it really depends on all those factors. But I would say, you know, if you really love something, go wear it, enjoy it, and if they understand it, it's fine. If they don't, it's okay as well.
Yeah, but not in the office.
No, for sure. That might have a different result.
Yes. There were big changes in perfume industry the last 10 years. For instance, the consciousness about the environment, or the explosion of new niche, indie and author brands. How do you see the perfume industry in 10 years from now?
I think the brands will definitely be focused more and more on sustainability. So we are gonna see the increase of greener brands. I would definitely say many of them are already working towards that goal, which is a very important goal. But I also see it as it's a world that, if we talk about niche perfumery, which is mainly what we are about here, it's a world that is expanding at a very, very rapid pace, and it's growing in a very interesting way, because there are now fragrances and perfumers coming from all over the world, which is makes it really, really exciting. We have perfumers from Thailand that are developing super creative and incredible things, which is great to see. I think it's an industry that can only grow now. I don't think there is an end to it. That's the beauty of it.
Is there any particular perfumer do you admire?
Because I am a vanilla girl, which is probably very predictable and a bit simple. It's not very complex, but I love vanilla. And I think it's associated to memories and all of that. I really admire Cécile Sarokian, which is, as they call it, the queen of vanilla. So yeah, I think she does work with the vanilla incredibly well and give it different dimensions, which makes it really, really exciting.
Orquídea, thank you so much for having me here, your invitation to Jovoy Mayfair, and for making this morning so worthy to me. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you.